Hi, I'm City Manager Ed Zerker, and welcome to another edition of Doing What Matters, the show where we talk to Phoenix employees about the work they do to serve the community. Every week, city employees retire after years of great service. And this week, one of my close friends is retiring, Deputy City Manager Rick Neymark, 29 years with the city.
Yes.
And how many as Deputy City Manager?
More than 10.
All right, so you've seen a lot of Phoenix in your time here. You came in 1986, you're not from Phoenix. Tell us a little bit about what it was like when you first showed up here on a July day in 1986.
Well, it was a big shock, first of all, because we moved here from Boston. And so we walked into our apartment and the air conditioning hadn't been on. And you know the rest of the story, it was pretty tough.
That's right.
And I said to my wife, who we'd just gotten married a few weeks before, I just said, hey, we're only here for a one-year internship. If we don't like it, you know, we're going to be gone.
Now
here
29 years later.
Yeah, we're still here.
As you think about 29 years at the city, just think about the city itself. What have you seen as the biggest changes in Phoenix?
Well, the first thing is it's more than doubled in population, which is, you know, unbelievable. I don't think there's any other city in America, a big city, that's done that in that time frame. So just the growth itself has really changed the nature and character of the city. The city's also grown up at the same time. It's, you know, some of the areas of the city are now old, you know, and we're replacing infrastructure. And then the people, I mean, you know, with that growth in population, there's also come a lot of change in the makeup of the population. It's much more diverse, much more urban in nature. You know, downtown, when we came here, was just so empty. There were maybe 3 or 4 restaurants downtown, and we weren't quite sure what planet we had moved to.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, over the last 29 years, but particularly maybe in the last 5 to 10, the center of the city has really transformed in a way that unlike really any place I've ever seen.
And we're standing here sort of in the urban core with lots of things that I know you've had a hand in, light rail, ASU, artwork in the civic space park system. I mean, it's just been tremendous change in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's been something you've seen develop, as you've said, over these 29 years. Really important work. As you talked about the organization itself, the people who work for the city of Phoenix, what sorts of changes have you noticed for us as a city organization?
Well, from the day I walked in, I noticed that this city has really, really committed employees. They work hard, they care, and I think they're second to none in terms of you know, people across the nation working in local government. And they've been inspired by great leaders, great managers, great mayors, and city councils. You know, what I see the change for us is, number one, technology has evolved so much,
Yeah.
and so it's really changed the way we do the work that we do. We can be more efficient, we can be better at communicating, quicker at doing things, we can customize the way we do things sometimes, and so that change has been really interesting. I think the other thing is that, you know, most of my early years at the city were years where the budget was just growing and growing and growing, and the debate was, should we add 100 police officers or 300 police officers, rather than where do we have to cut? And so that's really created a different environment and required a different skill set of our managers and our employees and the mayor and council to think about how do we cope with tight fiscal pressures.
We call this show Doing What Matters. You've done a lot of things that matter over almost 30 years. As you look back, Rick, is there one particular thing that you would point to as the most meaningful thing that you've had a chance to work on?
Well, let me pick 2, Ed.
Okay.
I never follow the rules.
That's right, that's fine.
One is just the work on the downtown campuses. We're standing in the middle of the ASU campus, biomedical campuses down the street, and having the opportunity to work on these campus developments has just been fantastic. I never knew how to build a campus before. I had to learn, work to partner with the universities and other folks in the community, and our voters, you know, actually voted to put money into developing these, and I think it's really been a key to the downtown area. The second thing is the park system. I always loved it when I supervised the Parks Department, and being here at Civic Space is special for me because this is a park I got to work on, and the historic preservation and art elements.
And you got to work on both initiatives to add funding for parks, right?
That's right, yeah, and particularly the second one where we renewed it. I was supervising the Parks Department at that time. And the best part of that for me, besides improving parks citywide, was the opportunity to buy more desert preserve land, because I really think that setting aside that property for future generations to not be built on really helps create a nice character for Phoenix. I think the mountains and the preserves really are an icon of Phoenix, and it's a reason why people love to move and live here, being able to hike and walk or just see the mountains.
And we've added, what, almost 15,000 acres in your time of desert preserve, which is a new thing.
Yes, it's a huge number of acres. It was even a complicated process to get through that, because we had to purchase it from the state land department and figure out what the value was and all of that. So that was exciting. Let me mention one other thing that I'm really proud of. And
That's
that is,
3.
I'm sorry, I know I break
okay.
the rules. I really loved working on the transportation system, thinking about our streets in a different way, and now going to the voters and asking them for approval to greatly expand the light rail and bus network for our city. You know, there are a lot of ways people can get around the city, and buses and rail are going to be continuing to grow in their importance, because we're going to add, again, double, you know, and we're going to add lots of people here, and there's no more room on the roads for them. And so finding other ways for people to get around is just critically important. And that's been a really fun and exciting thing for us to work on in the last couple of years here.
And even simple things like the grid bikes, which are a new element for us. So I know you had a big hand in making that happen too.
Bike sharing is happening all over the country and the world, and Phoenix is a perfect place to ride a bike most of the year.
Most of the year. All right, Rick, thanks for everything you've done for the city and for your 30 years, but you do have one more day.
And I have a lot of work to do.
All right, let's go. For Doing What Matters, I'm City Manager Ed Zerker.